Super duper doo, how old are you?
And if you didn't know how old you are, how old would you feel? And regardless of whether you're 13, 33 or 83, 103, wouldn't it be nice to wake up every single day with a stack of energy, feel fantastic, love what you see in the mirror, and be able to live your life doing all the things that you want to do? So you're never too old if you want to go mountain climbing, or you want to go biking, or you want to go water skiing, or you want to dance at a nightclub, or you want to play with your grandkids in the backyard. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a body that can do all the things that you want to do? And what if there was some very simple things that are foolproof, that if you did them every single day, if you added them into your life, the same as brushing your teeth, eating food or having a shower, that you could have a healthy, fit, strong body for the rest of your life? Now, behind me is a mountain that from my house takes 8 hours to hike up and hike back down again. It's an 8-hour round trip. And there are many people in my local area, including me, I'm an old lady, but the farm that's next door to me, for example, is Mr. MacArthur. He goes hunting up on that mountain, and he's 81 years young. He still has a farm. He still works the farm full time. It's his full-time job at 81 years young, and he can climb that mountain. So wouldn't it be nice that if you wanted to climb a mountain and it was an 8-hour round trip and you were 81 years young, that you could go and do it? I have been studying longevity and being healthy, fit and strong all of my life, and for some very specific reasons. But I'd love to share with you the first one. My father died of Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed. They said, your father's going to die of a rotting brain, basically, dementia, Alzheimer's. And I couldn't understand that. I was an exercise professional, knowing how I had a limited at that stage understanding of how the human body worked, because I've been studying ever since. This was pre-1999, because in 1999, up until then, it was suggested that you couldn't replace brain cells. There was no such thing as neurogenesis. And after 1999, the neuroscientists, the neurosurgeons said, yes, you can. You can replace brain cells. And that was my driving force, because when I said to the neurosurgeon, my father's been diagnosed with dementia, with Alzheimer's, why can't we replace his brain cells? And the answer was, we just can't. Well, that's not true. You don't have to have a rotting brain. You can keep your brain really young. And if your brain is young and fit and strong and mentally tough, is it possible that that would help your body? And then how do we get a mentally tough, strong brain? Is it possible that we need to have a really fit, strong, physically tough and strong body? So my father dying was a driving force for me to find out, how does the brain work with the body to make sure that you can stay young for the rest of your life? And interestingly, my father, who could speak 7 languages fluently, he could play 3 musical instruments, he could sing the words to thousands of songs that he had in his own memory. When he was diagnosed with a brain rotting disease, they locked him in a room, pretty much in a hospital room. He wasn't reading anymore, he wasn't singing anymore, he wasn't playing musical instruments anymore, he wasn't practicing his languages anymore. So consequently, his brain rotted away very, very quickly, and he died very quickly after his diagnosis. So my driving force is I didn't want that for anybody. As an exercise professional, it was a really tough call for me, because my mother, who lived through the Second World War, as my father did too, just was in a horrible state. At 74 years of age, she was an old lady diagnosed with advanced osteoporosis, so very thin, weak bones. The orthopaedic surgeon had shared with her that she would go from a walking stick to a walking frame to a wheelchair. Yuck. She had coronary heart disease. Everybody in her family everybody except her had died under the age of 60 from coronary heart disease. And we think the only reason that she didn't die under the age of 60 was because they moved to Australia, so she had a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. She had type 2 diabetes, she was overweight, she had horrible chronic asthma and horrible any kind of allergy that came up in the springtime. My mother would suffer terribly from just the horrible thing that allergies do to you. So my mother at 74 was a very unfit, overweight, unhealthy old lady. But when she was diagnosed with advanced osteoporosis, bone thinning disease, where she would end up in a wheelchair, she didn't, and I'm her daughter, so very difficult to get across to your mum that it would be really cool if you got healthy, fit and strong, or if you get fit and strong, you could get healthy. But I'm married to an exercise health scientist, a published research scientist, and my mother loved my husband a lot and listened to him and respected him. So when she came with the diagnosis of advanced osteoporosis, came in, my gorgeous husband said, enough is enough, Mrs. Cesar, and it's time. We call her Mutti, which is the German mama terminology. Mutti, it's time for you to get rid of this horrible disease. We're not doing this anymore. So he threw her walking stick away, which the orthopaedic surgeon had given her, and she started strength training. She started lifting heavy weights, well, light weights to start with, obviously, but they felt heavy. She got stronger and stronger and stronger, so her bones got stronger because her muscles were being used. She started boxing, so she would have pressure through her joints. We moved her out of a retirement village and into a beautiful apartment on the Gold Coast next to the beach. And the apartment was on a high floor, so she had to run up the stairs. We told her you had to walk up, run, walk. She started walking but ended up running up the stairs for your heart so that you stay really fit. And we're going to make sure that you stay really strong, so the pounding of your joints on the way down. So she had to go up the stairs for her heart, down the stairs for her bones. She wasn't allowed to use the elevator. I'm sharing that with you because at 80 years of age, my mother was young again. And when everybody else in her family died of old age, under the age of 60, coronary heart disease, here's my mother at 98 years of age dying peacefully in her sleep. And isn't that the ultimate way for all of us to die? Have a yummy dinner, have a great day, go to sleep, and that's it. I'm sharing that with you because that is a choice. That doesn't fall out of the sky in a pretty pink box. We have to make that happen. So my study for longevity started with my father. Then, of course, we got my mother, healthy, fit and strong. So I wanted to now, as a driving force to get people to feel good about exercise, which has been my driving force as an exercise professional, it was now about how can I get that message out to the world? And are there other people who are living like that? Because it's when you're at the time when I started all of this, I was only young. It's difficult for more mature, older people to take me seriously because I'm young. Now that I'm old, and I am very old, I wanted to be the living, breathing example of an old person who gets fitter and stronger and healthier as they get older. So I started looking at people in the world that live for a very long time. And the scientists call it the blue zone. So areas in the world where people live, that they live for a very long time, where there's more people over 100 than any other place in the world. And the places the one place that was of real interest to me, first of all, there are Seventh-day Adventists who live in America, which is a religious group that are they're vegetarians, not vegan vegetarians. Some of them are. They don't drink alcohol, and they live a very long time. But I was brought up as a Seventh-day Adventist, so I understood that lifestyle very. I had lived that close range with my family. I didn't go to Okinawa to have a look because the Japanese food that people eat is a little bit unusual. Excuse me. I'm getting excited. I'm talking too fast. I'm getting excited because you can stay young and strong for long. And this is a simple process on how to do it. And the people that live a very long time all do exactly the same thing. So the Japanese food wasn't of interest to me because it's stuff that I didn't even know that you could get it in Australia or New Zealand or in Western countries. So I went to Italy. Now, Italy, the little island off Italy called Sardinia, has one of the highest rates of people over the age of 100 in the world. And it was a really very, very cool experience to go there. And it literally changed my life and highly inspired me even more to inspire other people to stay young. And this is a story I tell on a regular basis, but it literally changed my life. So my gorgeous husband and I, we were in a tiny little Fiat Uno because we were climbing through the mountains of Sardinia. And we came across a village and we went to the pub. It was right on sunset. And at the pub was a very old, a group of blokes who were very old. And when I say old, the youngest was 80 and the oldest was 103. It was a group of friends. And they were having a cigar, they were having a glass of wine, and they were eating a pizza. They had just played soccer, and they were all full-time farmers. They were still working full-time. And they are the living, breathing epitome example of how to stay young and strong for long, because the 5 things that the experts in the world say you need to do to stay young, they were doing them all. So number 1 is you have to have a passion and a purpose to wake up. And is it possible that if you aim for retirement at 65, a lot of people die after they retire because they don't have purpose anymore. These guys didn't retire. They were still farming every day. They had olive farms and they were working really hard every day. So they're waking up every day with a passion and a purpose. Mr. MacArthur, the farmer who lives behind me at 81, he's got a passion and a purpose. He's got to look after his sheep. He's got to look after his cattle. He's got to look after his farm. He's got to fix the fences. He's got to do stuff. So he's always got passion and purpose. So number one is you have to have a reason to get up. You have to have a reason to keep going. Number two is you have to have strong muscles because you can't do anything if your muscles are wasted away. You end up fat if your muscles have wasted away because you have a slow metabolism, and muscles waste away because we let them. It's a simple expression. If you don't use them, you'll lose them. So if you used to play sport, or you used to climb mountains, or you used to ride a bike, or you used to be an active person and you stop doing that, your muscles waste away. If you don't use your muscles, you will lose them. Reverse, if you use your muscles, you won't lose them. So do we get old and then stop doing the stuff that we love to do, or do we get old because we stop doing the stuff that we love to do? And the really big one there, and my gorgeous husband is a living, breathing example of that. He's a martial artist and he's almost 60. He's still competing at world championship level against young people. So he's got high adrenaline rush from fighting on a regular basis. See, when you tell your body that it's under stress and you need to fight and flight, your body produces adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, the fight and flight drugs, which also keep you young because they force you to go. So not walk, not do slow, boring exercise. I'm talking about high intense activity to get away from the animal that's trying to kill you, or the wild tribe that's chasing you, or the stress that's in your life. Now, we tend not to have wild animals chasing us anymore. Mind you, there was a case out here in Central Otago where a guy was literally pushed over by a wild pig. And if he wasn't healthy, fit and strong, he probably would have died. So there's a case in the Western world where you do need to be fit and strong because a wild animal might push you over. So you have to create your own stress so that your body stays young. So fighting is even better than flighting because there's a different mental headspace to turning and fighting something than there is to just running away from it. So if you do a martial art, and you do it at a high intense level, you're more likely to stay young. Now, the other thing with martial arts, which are really cool, they do patterns and katas, which is really good for your memory. You've got to keep your brain alive. If you don't use your brain cells, you will lose them. That's what happened to my father. So number one, you've got to have a passion and a purpose. Isn't sport a great reason? Or your job, so why retire? Do what you love and then you never want to retire. Number two is you've got to maintain your muscle, and muscle will waste away at a very rapid rate if you don't use it. So you've got to do strength training, and it could be lifting weights. Yes, you could go to the gym, but if you hate going to the gym, don't go. The Italian farmers that I met in Sardinia, they were not going to the gym, but they were lifting heavy things on their farm every day. The farmer that lives next to me, he lifts heavy things every day. He lifts animals, he lifts logs, he lifts rocks, he lifts heavy things to stay strong. When you maintain your muscle, you can now maintain your fitness, because fitness requires 100% effort. To be fit enough to put in 100% effort, you have to have strong muscles and bones. You can't get puffed at 100% effort if you're weak and frail. So passion and purpose, maintain your muscle strength by overloading your muscles on a regular basis, staying strong by lifting heavy, and then get puffed. Not slow, boring, long distance exercise, high intense activity. And here's a great question. When was the last time you got really puffed? I get puffed every day, multiple times throughout the day, because I want to stay young and strong for long. How about you? So, passion and purpose, muscle strength, get puffed, learn new things. You've got to constantly be learning new things. So whether it's the words to a song, new dance steps, kata or patterns for martial arts, go new places, meet new people, read different books, argue with people about different topics, but keep your brain alive, because you're forcing your brain to be used. If you do the same thing over and over, if you listen to the same radio station, if you listen to the same kind of music, if you meet and hang out with the same people all the time, your brain just gets rotten. It rots away because it's got no reason to grow. It's got no reason to get better. So give your brain a reason every single day Force it to stay strong, force it to stay mentally tough. And of course, exercise does that for you as well, because there's a great connection between getting powerlifting heavy and the messages that it sends to your brain, especially those fight and flight messages, which is I need to survive, I need to stay alive. So your brain has to be worked to keep you alive. The last one's really interesting, and again, a living, breathing example of the guys from Sardinia. People who like each other, who hang out together and appreciate each other's company. But there's a real challenge with that, because I think there's a challenge with that because A, there might not be people that you like, and B, if you're not a very nice person, nobody's going to want to hang out with you. So the fifth one could be a great person that is funny, that is interesting, that has great stories to tell so that other people want to invest time in you. And yes, we need connection. But you don't want to be connected to the wrong people because they can pull you down. And that's what happened to my mother. We put her in a retirement village and she got old really fast because she was surrounded by old people who were talking about being old and not doing anything because they were old. So if you want to stay young and you want to hang out with people and people are important to you, be a great person so that fun, happy, positive people want to invest time with you. But even more important than that, just be a great person so that you love your own company. So that if there is nobody around, you don't need to have people. You don't get lonely because you like who you are, you love your own company. And the one thing that's I have very few regrets in my life, but one of the things that I really regret is that I didn't learn more about how the human brain works before my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. But what I do know now is that my father loved animals. He absolutely loved dogs, and we had some beautiful dogs. But when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, my mother said, no more dogs for you, you won't be able to look after them. I think that if my father had a dog, and if he kept singing, and if he kept playing musical instruments, and if he kept reading, and if he kept practicing 7 languages, he would have stayed alive for a much, much longer period of time, because my father was actually very fit and strong. He went through the Second World War, was in concentration camp, and then came out and became a builder. So he was lifting bricks and logs or pieces of wood and bags of concrete. He was a very fit, strong man, but as soon as he stopped moving, his body wasted away, and when he stopped using his brain, it wasted away. So you've got the purpose of it to not be lonely. My father would have been able to entertain himself beautifully if he'd been able to play music and read books and still practice his languages. So those 5 things: passion and purpose, be really strong, stay really fit, make sure you're using your brain, and make sure that you are a person that you want to hang out with. But if there's no people that you want to put into your life, please rescue a dog or 3 or 4 or 5. Puppy dogs are the ultimate production, or they produce inside your brain a chemical called oxytocin. Now, humans do that too, but we don't have control over what humans do. Some humans are horrible people. But dogs, they're always beautiful. They love you, they cuddle you. Just touching a dog produces oxytocin. It makes you feel good. So if you want your life if you want to live a great life, whether you're 13, 33 or 83 or 103, how about this? How about really focus on what do I love to do and make sure you do it every day? How do I stay strong so my muscles don't waste away? How do I stay really fit so I can go and do all the things that I want to do? How do I make sure that my brain is being used every day and my brain cells are getting stronger and the connections between each brain cell are getting stronger and stronger, neurogenesis and neuroplasticity? And then what do I do to become a great person so that I love my own company? Other people want to invest time with me because I'm a lovely person. And then please get a pet. And if it can be a rescue dog, that would be absolutely awesome. If you want to live your life to the max and say life to the max, I love saying that. Live your life to the max and be healthy, fit and strong for the rest of your life. It's a very simple process, but that is a choice. Can you choose to be healthy, fit and strong? Yes. Can you choose to have a passion and a purpose? That is a choice. Can you choose to be strong? Yes. Can you choose to be fit? Yes. Can you choose to learn every day? Yes. Can you choose to invest time with great people or be a great person? Yes. But the reverse of that, if you just allow your body to waste away because you're bored and you don't stimulate your brain, you don't stimulate your muscles, you don't get your heart fit and strong, then your body will waste away, your brain will waste away, and then life is very ordinary. I want a great quality of life. I want to live my life, whether I've only got 1 day left or I've got another 100 years left. I want to make sure that I live my life with great quality. How about you? Super duper doo. How are you? Young and strong and fit and healthy. Woohoo!